This is higher, it's practice paper E. We're looking at question 4 in the calculator paper. Right, we have to solve 2 cosine 2x minus sine x plus 1 equals 0. And we've got a range between 0 and 2 pi. 2 pi not included. Right, 6 marks for this question here. Right, so when I look at this here, I can see that it's not a wave function type question. What it'll be an addition formula question that I'm going to be looking at. So the first thing I'm going to be looking for is to replace this here with something from the formula list. Right, so from the formula list, if I look at cosine 2x, cosine 2x would be this one here. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 different equations I can change that to. The one that I'm going to use is going to be the one at the bottom here, which is 1 minus 2 sine squared x. Okay, and the reason why I'm using that, I'm using sine, is because this is a sine x here. And what I'll be able to do is to create a trinomial from there and be able to solve this. Right, so let's try and substitute that in first of all. So I've got 2 here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bracket it to make sure that I don't lose any of the minus signs that I've got. So it's 1 minus 2, and it's sine squared x. Then I've got minus sine x plus 1 equals 0. Right, let's multiply this bracket out, and then what we'll do is we'll gather everything up. So that'll be minus 4 sine squared x minus sine x plus 1 equals 0. Let's gather everything on the right hand side, just to get that, remove that minus sign there. So 0 is going to be equal to, so it's 4 sine squared x. I've got plus sine x when I take that over the other side. When I've got the 2 plus the 1 gives me 3 on this side, take it over to the other, will give me minus 3. Right, so then I'm looking to factorise this. I've got a trinomial now, and factorising it out and trying to solve it from here. So what we'll do is we'll put it into 2 brackets. What I have here is, I've got 4 sine x, so I'm going to go for the 4 sine x and sine x. So 2 of these multiplied together to get 4 sine squared x. 3 and 1 will be the factors that I'll use for the others. And what I'll do is I'll put them in this order here, because 4 times 1 gives me 4, 3 times sine x gives me 3 of them. If I subtract this one from that one, then that's going to give me the positive that I'm looking for. So the biggest multiplier out is going to be the positive. The other one will be the negative, to make sure I get the minus 3 at the end there. Right, so from there, what I can say is that 4 sine x minus 3 equals 0. So if I take the 3 over and divide it by the 4, I've got sine x is equal to 3/4. On this side here, I've got sine x plus 1 equals 0. So sine x equals minus 1. Right, so if I look at this side first, and I just consider the sine graph. So remember the sine graph starting at 0, coming up to 1, going down to minus 1, and back to there at 360 degrees. So that would be minus 1 here, 1 here, 0, that would be 180, 360, this will be 90, and this is 270 here, if I was working in degrees. If I'm working in radians, which I'm going to be doing, this will be 3 pi over 2, where it's negative 1. So here I've got one value that's going to come out, and that's going to be 3 pi over 2 radians. If you were working in degrees, that would be 270 degrees. Okay, and then if you're converting at the end, which you must do to show that your answer is going to be in radians. Right, let's look at this side here then. I've got sine x is equal to positive 3/4. So if I think about the CAST table, I'm looking at where sine is positive, so I'm looking for a solution in the first quadrant and also in the second quadrant. Right, so let's find the acute angle first of all. That's in the first quadrant. I'll say that x is going to be equal to the inverse sine of 3/4. And I'll see what value I'm going to get out here. So I've set my calculator into radians. So the calculator's in radians here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to just do the shift sine 3 divided by 4. Okay, and what that's going to give me is, so that looks like a weird number. It's not one of these nice ones that work out to be 3 pi upon 2 or anything like that. So it's just a straight number, and I'm going to take it to 3 decimal places. So that's 0.848. Okay, so 0.848 radians. Okay, if you work that in degrees, then in degrees what you would get there would be 48.6 degrees. Okay, if you're going to convert that at the end. Right, so to work out the second quadrant solution, so what we have is x is equal to, and it's going to be 180 degrees, and I'm going to subtract from that, and it would be the 48.6 degrees. I'm working in radians, so I'm just going to do that on the calculator just now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go for pi, and I'm going to subtract the answer, which is 0.848, and what you get out there is 2.29, and 4 would be to 3 decimal places. So that's going to be 2.294, and that's radians, and they're all to 3 decimal places. So if that was in degrees that you're working this one, this would be 131.4 degrees if you do that and then convert. Okay, so the only thing left for me to do is just to state the solutions. So solutions, what we have is x is going to be equal to, right, so let's try and put them in order. So let's go for 0.848, I've got 2.294, and finally I'll just write that one the way it is, that's all, in radians. So that would be my final answer. So just remember, if you're doing this in degrees, and you need to convert it into radians to make sure that you've got your final answer and you get the full marks on that. Right, let's see where we're going to get the marks. The first thing I'm going to get is for substituting into this equation, the first equation, I'm going to get that there. That's my first mark. I'll take a mark for, let's go for just sorting it all out and then factorising it to there. So there's my next mark. From here, what I'm going to get is just take a mark for getting both of these correct here. So once I've factorised it, solving it from there and finding what sine x is equal to, I'll go for 1 mark for getting this one here, 1 mark for this one, and 1 mark for that one there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 marks. And remember, answers must be in radians.